Hey guys, for today's video I'm going to be talking you through my favourite must-have beauty tools. I've never done a video like this. I sort of just say I really like this makeup brush or I really like this. But I've got a little collection of my favourite must-have. Some of them are this particular product and some are just this type of makeup brush. So we're just going to get started and we'll start with sponges because I've got quite a nice collection of sponges now. But I have two which I absolutely love. After this video I am going to film a comparison of all of the beauty sponges that I have, so make sure you stay tuned to see that video if you want to see a more in-depth review and comparison of all the different types. But for now I have two which are my favourite ones that I use all the time. First one, I'm devastated that I like it so much because I tried so hard to find dupes for it and I thought I did, but then I owned one and I was like, oh no, I really like this. If you haven't guessed, it is a beauty blender. Everybody talks about these, everybody raves about them. I was like, nah, a makeup sponge is a makeup sponge. Once you've owned one, you realise that, oh no, they are actually really, really good. I use this all the time, and so it's a little bit dirty. It's not too bad, because I washed it last week, so it's not too bad, but it's a little bit dirty. I absolutely love this. I use it both wet and dry. Sometimes I will just use it dry, maybe just for my concealer if I can't bother to go to wet it. But it does work a lot better once it's damp. It is huge once it's damp. Said I'm going to do a proper in-depth review on them where I will be showing you them dry and wet. Stay tuned for that one. But right now, I'm just going to tell you how amazing this is. It blends makeup so well and so smoothly and effortlessly. I wish I stuck with that word. My hair has gone so flat. It doesn't feel like it's going to when it's wet because it feels like it's just going to wash all your makeup off, but it doesn't. It blends everything really well. You can apply it different ways. You can do the old technique of back of the hand and then you put splodges on and then blend it out with this, or you can pick up the product off the back of your hand and then it all onto your face. It's definitely a dab, not a stroke or a swipe. It's definitely, you dab this in everywhere it needs to go and it just blends everything so smoothly and amazingly and almost gives you like that airbrush sort of flawless skin look. They are expensive. These are £20. I got this free when I started my Birchbox. I would never spend £20 on a makeup sponge. However, if it is in your budget, these are really, really good. If you can afford to get one, then definitely. If I just the other makeup sponge that I only had for a few weeks, but I'm falling in love with it, and it is this. This is the Spectrum makeup sponge. I spoke about this in my Birchbox from last month and said that I didn't like the way it felt. It is very tough. It feels really weird. But once you've wet it and once it's damp, it is amazing. It is definitely firmer than the Beauty Blender, but it's nice. This, just like the Beauty Blender, applies everything really, really well. It gives you that airbrush look. It blends really good. It makes your makeup stay for longer. And I just use it a lot. I don't want to compare the two because I'm going to do a full video on that, but you can see like the difference in the squishiness just from that. But they do the same thing. I'm not going to talk too much. I'm going to leave it for a separate video, but I love both of these. Twice, I have a nice little collection on my knee. So let's see if I can do some sort of order to them, because some of them are the same and some of them aren't. Okay, not the same. Brands. We're going to start off with Real Techniques. I have the entire Real Techniques collection, not the new gold one because that's just really expensive. These multicoloured ones, I have the face collection and I have the eye collection and I have like an extra collection or something that I got, I don't know. I have 4 that I have picked out which I use every single time I apply makeup, pretty much. This one is the only exception to that. So we'll start with this. This is the Real Techniques Stippling brush. This is the first ever makeup brush that I owned, weirdly enough. Like proper makeup brush. I love this brush. I used it today. If I'm not using one of the makeup sponges, then I am using this, or I know there is another foundation brush in my pile here. I love this. reason I like that it's a stippling brush is it gets right in everywhere it needs to be. So you pick up the product on your hand like this, and then you stipple it all over the face, and then you go back through with a really light hand, and I like to just like do it like this, like, ooh, and you do everything in really tiny, small little circular patterns to really get everything into all of them little nooks and crannies. It applies beautifully. It does take a little practice to use this and not just to use it like a makeup brush. You can do that, but the stippling effect is much better. It used to be really soft, it's not so much anymore because I've had it for a long time, but it's really good and worth the money. Okay, more real techniques. We've got this one. This one I use every single time I wear makeup. Let's see what it says. It says it's a powder brush. It's exactly what it is. It is a powder brush. I love the size of this, like, it's huge, it is soft, it's like spongy, it just feels really nice. It's really easy to apply powder, even though it's so huge. It's very good. You can get under your eyes with it, you can get like all the little bits everywhere. It just fits really well. It doesn't pick up too much product either, which is really nice. I always tap my makeup brushes off anyway before I use them, but this has hardly any fallout no matter what product I'm using. So it applies just really nicely. That's pretty much it. I really like it. This one again is, I use pretty much every time. Sometimes I'll use a sponge instead. This is the Real Techniques contour brush. So in theory it's one of these to get really in this little contour bit here. However, I use it as a concealer brush. I don't know why, I just find it blends my concealer out really well, whether it's under my eyes or covering blemishes. It blends everything. So I'll put some concealer under my eyes, and then just sometimes I'll give it a dab, and sometimes you can give it a swirl, and if there's like spots you just swirl everywhere. It just blends everything so much nicer, I find, than a sponge. It just makes things like makes the shades sort of blend in. So if your foundation doesn't quite match your concealer or anything like that, it blends everything really nicely. You can really get a good sort of spread and coverage with it, more than you can so with a sponge. Really like it. It's probably good for a contour brush as well, but I don't use it for that. Last Real Techniques brush that I have to show you is the brow brush. So this has got a slanted tip. It's really firm but still really soft, and it is perfect for eyebrows. Again, just like the other one, the powder brush, it doesn't pick up too much product, which I think for eyebrows is very important, because it is very easy to overdo the eyebrow situation, and this, because it's so soft and doesn't pick up that much product, it's really easy to just apply the right amount and build up. I've got another eyebrow brush and that's really tough, and it picks up a lot of product, and I find that it's much harder to work with because this does have this little bit of a bend in it and a little bit of softness. It really fits everywhere. It fits all along here really nice, and here as well because of the slant. Really like it. The next two that I've got to talk about are from Arbonne. I have the entire Arbonne brush collection, but these are the two that I use all the time, although one of them, there's like 3 of them, but I just pulled out one. So let's do that one first. This is the Arbonne shading brush. I think this came with 2 or 3 in there, but I thought I'd just show you one. So this is an eyeshadow brush. It is so soft. It's like slightly rounded at the top, or ovaled, but it's just so soft. It works really well for base eyeshadow, so like the main colour, not like crease or shading or anything like that, for the base. So I use the actual side like this. This is eyeshadow like this. I use the side, and then I can just like dab it on. Can use the tip of this and obviously like and then rub it all in, but I found that just using the side, just like this, and then patting it on really works to make sure the eyeshadow is getting packed on right on your eyes, that it looks, did I say eyeshadow? I don't know if I said foundation then. It just works really well. The Arbonne ones are quite expensive, but they are definitely worth it. I really like this brush. The other Arbonne one that I've got is this one. This is the blush brush. However, I use it for contouring. I know it's quite a large brush for contouring, but I don't really like harsh contour, so this I feel spreads everything out. It is just like all of the others, it is really soft, it picks up just the right amount of product and fits quite nicely just here and here, and because it's a larger brush, it doesn't make that harsh contour line, which I think is quite easy to get. If you like that, it's fine, but for me, I just don't like it on myself. This fits just nicely because it is bigger. It means you can put the product in and then sort of blend it out and work it in and make sure that everything is even. It just works really well. It actually washes really well as well. The Real Techniques ones, the more I wash them, you can see them sort of like starting to fall apart. These actually wash really well. It's really soft. Yeah. My last branded one is the Spectrum, maybe a contour brush, I'm not sure, it doesn't say. It's in a Birchbox, as is everything lately. This has got this really sort of weird, like, tapered, is that the word? It's got like this really weird shape to it, but I really like it. It is pointed at the end, but then it's so soft, like this entire purple bit is so soft. It's quite tough, even though it is so soft. I use this as a blush brush. It may be a contour one with the point. I use this as a blusher brush because I like that it's smaller, so you can get more, what's the word? Intricate maybe? So when you put your blush on, it's not just like pshoo, going everywhere. You can sort of like really work this exactly where you want the blush to be. It blends really well. It does pick up quite a lot of product, so you need to be careful with that. Not like the other ones, this picks up quite a lot, so it can put your makeup on quite pigmented. So I have to use a light hand with this, but I love the control it gives me for my blush. That's the word, control. The control it gives me for my blush. So yeah, there's that one. It's really nice. I think this is like $7.99 maybe, so it's not too bad for a makeup brush. Last three that I have are not a brand. I just needed some more eye makeup brushes and I didn't want to pay a fortune, so I just bought a cheap set off eBay and it came with some face brushes. So I thought I'd show you my three favourite that I got in this cheap set. They work fine, they work really well, but it is more the brush shape that I wanted to show you of why I like these. So the brushes work really fine. I got gold, they're really nice. This is the first one is a foundation brush. This is almost like the stippling brush, but it's got a flat edge. It's more like a buffing brush. I've been using this to apply my foundation and it's really, really tough like this, but then it's also really flexible and really soft. It's just, and I do this in swirl patterns just like I do the stippling brush, and it just blends everything really nicely. And because of the flat head, I feel like you can sort of push quite hard. Like, I feel like you can push quite hard and get in all the places that you need it to get at. And I'm sure you can get expensive brushes that do the same thing, but this was just a really cheap set off eBay, and it's more just the shape that I wanted to show you. The brush is great too. Okay, the other two are eye brushes. Now, one of them I absolutely love. This particular brush I absolutely love. This is what I have been using as a, what is the word called? Blending brush for my eyeshadow. I actually have a Real Techniques one similar to this, but I don't like it as much as I like this one. And I like this one more because it is quite tough. So I feel like I've got more control of blending over my eyeshadow. So I use this like all over. I'm not going to do it because I don't want to like blend it all out again, but just to buff and blend all of my eyeshadows in together. I love this. Again is sort of a bit tapered, like it's thin and gets thicker at the top, this one, but I just really love it. It works really well. I like the control of it. And the last one that I have to show you again is from the same like cheap eBay collection, and it is another eye brush. I don't know how well you can see it, and this one is really tapered at the ends, so it goes into a real point. And as you can see, it is quite dark at the bottom. Yeah, as you can see, it is dark on the end because I use this as a shading of the outer edge. Is this an outer edge? I don't really, outer, yeah. So the darker parts of my eyeshadow on the outer edge, I really like to use this. It gets in that corner really well. It gets all up in the crease really well. And it just, it helps to apply the darker shades. I use this, just like sort of use this, and then I will go back through with this one and blend it all out, because this is a very tough brush. Like even when you go side to side, it is it is still quite tough, but I like that for the darker shades. Again, control. I have to have control in all things, and this just gives me that extra bit of control onto my eyeshadow, which I really like. And that is it for this video. I'm going to have to quickly run and go because my battery's going to die and I'm running late to do some things. I hope that you like this video. Stay tuned to see a review and comparison of all of the makeup sponges that I have. That should be going up at some point this month. Thank you for watching. Make sure that you thumbs up and that you subscribe, and I'll see you next time.